let's have a beautiful experience. In this video, we're going to talk about being a boss, how to naturally raise your testosterone, your human growth hormone, and make your penis bigger. It's a beautiful thing. You gotta love it. Alright, before we get started here, please do me a huge favor. Please ring the bell, subscribe to the channel. Of course, tell some friends, like Rocky Balboa says. Hey, yo, I didn't hear no bell. Make sure you're ringing that bell and giving me that like Arthur Fonzarelli, so I say hey. And of course, follow me on my social media. I go by Jesus_Detroit on my Instagram, Snapchat. I'm YOUNGDAYGO. And in this video, that's right, we're talking about being a boss. And you know what we're all about here in the BCC, the Big Cock Consciousness, the Big Cock Collective. Will help you manifest a bigger, wider, thicker, longer, stronger, and higher penis. Help you naturally raise your HGH and your testosterone. I'm a spiritual guide and a mentor here to expand your mind and increase your size. So without further ado, I'm here to tell you about being a boss. And yes, man, I mean, I swear I felt like I was about to laugh just having all that boss energy in me, you know what I mean? And, you know, it was actually inspired today from Corrado Junior Soprano, believe it or not. And one of the quotes that he said that really resonated with me is, you know, that's what being a boss is. You know, you steer the ship as best as you can. Sometimes it's smooth sailing, but other times you hit the rocks. And, you know, that is really what it all comes down to, because you are the one. You are the boss. You are the one that's going to tell you how your ride's going to be to increase your size, to manifest the, you know, that huge piece of meat, swinging at the knees, throbbing at the pecs, making you your best. You know how I go around here in the BCC. We're talking about that you are your own boss of what can, you know, essentially work for you. And that's why you can't go out there just taking everybody's, you know, method and utilizing it for you, because it's like, you know, you can't, it's just not the way to go, you know. And like I said, if you want to do that, you can keep going and repeating and doubting, and just, there's just no, to me, that's just, you know, that's no good for nobody. I'm listening to people, you know, I'm watching like people do floor workouts on Instagram, and then there's people that are like, do these floor exercises work for people that aren't in shape? And it's just like, with that attitude, it's like you're never gonna get the, you know, you're not gonna get the satisfaction and the size if you're not willing to accept that it works, and you got to believe that it does. And if you think that you got to do something else to get you to that point to make it work, then that's what you got to do. And essentially, you are your own boss in that situation. And like I say, all truths are true. You just got to find the ones to make you. And when we're talking about being the boss, it's about making that decision. And, you know, like Corrado says, man, sometimes you're going to be having that ship just, you know, streamlined butterfly, you know what I mean, just being nice and smooth. And that's the way I intend on it to go anyways. I mean, you know, like that the Mind Valley guy always talks about, the world has a concept of umpire, and there was these boatmen, and they got their boats lined up, and it goes with the flow of the ocean. And like, you know, I love it, man. There's a whole bunch of spiritual shooters and guru big shots out there, and you know, I had to hit you with that, man. I mean, I'm entertained by all aspects of the spiritual community. I love it. And you got people that are out there just, you know, they you know, humble bragging and just ashamed to share their life sometimes. And it's just like, you know what? People love watching people do beautiful. You don't have to be ashamed about having, you know, thousands of dollars in crystal rocks and, you know, alkaline water and all this other stuff. I mean, I think that's beautiful, man. You know, and having Tony tanks and a whole bunch of other things. And, you know, of course, these, you know, the essential oils, frankincense, and, you know, all that stuff, you know, that's, you know, that could be very costly. But, you know, when you're living the abundant lifestyle and you really intend on this stuff to be the best, it's going to be able to manifest into your life. Because if you feel that you're going to need it, then that's the way that you're going to go with the rhyme to the reason of what you got to do. And you know how I say every single day anyways, before the feet hit the ground, you know the sound. Take this breath with me. I got a shot today. I feel beautiful because gratitude is the attitude. You gotta have that receptive mode to really grow and really flow, and let yourself know that you got a shot today. If you got a breath in your lungs, you got a shot. Shot at what? Shot at life. And you gotta really appreciate what you gotta appreciate that, because essentially, like I always say, man, we are born from excitement. We're made from an explosion of love, and you gotta be able to harness that energy at any given time, because it's already there. It's what creates worlds. It's what creates you. And you got to understand, the people that made you, they were happy to do it. Even if they were signing paperwork and you're a surrogate or whatever, you got to be happy to be alive. And that's how we go today. You know what? And of course, with this flow, I got to get my size flowing and increase this flow just right now out of nowhere, because I always got to share the mind and muscle connection. You know what I'm saying? Detroit Rock City winter advisory. We're going into the single digits tonight, and you know how we do, man. I'm still sitting here naked in the chair, sweating, long hair flowing, skin glowing, body growing, spirit knowing that I'm doing something right. Always got to share with you the mind and muscle connection. This is a belief system in itself. You can be the boss and increase your size and believe in what this does, or you can find some other means to the way that you go. But all I know is, like Paramahansa Yogananda says, the one that brought yoga to the West, he says the mind is the wielder of muscle. So what that means, it's your mind that puts on the size. And when you're talking about the feeling is the secret, there's nothing more real than the feel. And when you're feeling this pump, you understand that you're growing. And I feel that every single day that you expand and grow, then you can do no wrong. And especially if you come with love, which is why I always got to share some of my favorite mantras along the way. And of course, you say, I am magic, I am divine, and the universe is on my side. It's a beautiful thing to just say throughout the day. And of course, the mantras, I got a whole bunch of mantras I say. When I go on a plank, I'm dripping sweat. You know what I mean? I'm not just holding the plank for a couple seconds. I'm dripping sweat because I feel every moment of what's real. And when we're going with that, you got to understand, when you want to say something positive and just feel it out, you say that I'm so happy and grateful that my huge, beautiful muscles are growing bigger, harder, stronger, more defined, abundantly. And another one, for your penis, I'm so happy and grateful that my huge, beautiful penis is growing bigger, wider, thicker, longer, stronger, and harder, abundantly. And then when you gotta get that one last rep out, you just feel every muscle fiber, everything in you that grows. When you're super edge, and anytime you really gotta feel some growth, you go ahead and you scream and you shout if you can, or at least scream it in your head, and you just feel this when I do this. I am magic, I am divine, and I can increase my size. Oh yeah, getting lit. 2020, let's go, let's grow. It's a beautiful flow, man. I'm right here sweating, man. Detroit Rock City, man. And for that, I say salute. Oh yeah, antifreeze. It's a beautiful thing. Yeah. Of course, it got the lemons in there. Is for the spiritual community. You know what I mean? The lemons make me more grounded and high vibe, and keeps my pineal gland. You know what I'm saying? I don't, like I said, man, all this stuff is good. Essentially, whatever you allow yourself to believe is what's real. Like Rocky Balboa says, nothing's real unless you believe in yourself. So whatever you do, try to be on the side that works for you. Be on the side of good. Because when you're talking about something as simple as lemon water, you got to be able to, validate why this is so good for you. You should be telling yourself, like, this is keeping me more hydrated. This is good for my skin. All these things that you keep repeatedly saying on your mind is what's going to essentially put it into your, manifestation. And I feel that, like with green tea and all these other, positive things. But I also feel on the same side of the ticket that this is what creates problems for other types of diets that existed or may not have. Like when we're talking about the malt shop era, you know, people back doing the jitterbug and having, milkshakes and milkshakes and burgers like for every meal, it seemed, back in the 50s, according to the, watching TV shows like The Outsiders and the Lords of Flatbush. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, essentially, people in, Pony Boy and Soda Pop and Dolly, I mean, they were, of course, this is Tom Cruise, and, regardless, this is, everybody looked good back in the day. And even people that, were part of that era, like even the ones that were smoking cigarettes every day, when it wasn't looked at as a problem, it wasn't there for it to be, manifested as a problem. Not to say that problems were occurring or not, but I just feel that when you go into the belief system of this is no good for me, and when you do that, that's what's going to ruin you. And I feel like if you're eating McDonald's, like I say, if you're eating McDonald's and a Big Mac and you think that you're eating battery acid and Play-Doh, that's no good for nobody. And I was actually listening to this podcast today, and they were talking about how Japanese, whenever they eat sweets, and like they seldomly eat sugar or whatever, and this is culturally or what, and they say that when they do, they really appreciate it. Like they're like, oh my God, like this is so good. They're like, hold on. Oh yeah, you know me, I got over my cold, man. I got over the hump. Feel beautiful, man. I'm telling you, man. I was sweating like Mickey Rourke in the gym. Felt like the wrestler, just getting out all this this phlegm and everything. I'm on the Stairmaster, just like an old bag of meat, just hacking it up, man. You know what I mean? But regardless, what I'm talking about is whenever you're whenever you're eating something sweet, don't act like you're eating something bad. Whenever you're having like a piece of cake, it should be great. Whenever you're having a cannoli, you should be happy. Whenever you're eating excuse me. Thank you so much. Whenever you're having a beer, you should have some cheer. You gotta have that gratitude attitude about everything that you're putting in. Like me, I know when I'm putting in beer, I'm putting in one of the best things for me, because I feel beautiful, I feel alive, and I know that I'm divine, and I feel like this is the type of stuff that brings me to my best. And that is essentially what the Japanese practice like to say, about whatever you're doing, you should be happy about it. And even like there's like monks and stuff and a whole bunch of spiritual gurus, wizards, whatever, that are going to be talking about how they like whiskey, and they there's ones that do certain things that might be off the grid in the holistic community, because some of these guys, like I say, you go down that holistic rabbit hole and you ain't playing, you're going to be the boss. And that's the way that you're going to go about it. You're going to be the one that decides everything's no good. And I feel that, what's the point of that? If you can get into the idea that the world is an illusion, and this is Umpire, and this is the Matrix, or whatever type of bow or stamp or label you want to throw at whatever this existence is, nonetheless, why do we have to think that, something that's making you happy is no good? And I'm not saying like everything, but I'm just mean like, we're talking about your diet, and, people acting like you gotta be a vegan in order to have a clean pineal gland. And like I say, man, when I'm going to sleep at night, I'm dripping that DMT. Joe Rogan, and I ain't got a snort for it, jab a vein for it. All I gotta do is sleep, and I'm battling it out in the master realms. I'm able to I can feel the astral projections, and I've had experiences, and more to come, and I'm aware of this, and I feel that you don't necessarily have to be a vegan, but if you're the boss that's making that decision that, this is what's real, this is what I gotta do, I'm drawing a line in the sand, and I am following this path, and that's what I'm going with, then by all means you do it. But I'm just saying that you ain't gotta throw everybody's way to life down the pipes and think that that nobody's to me nobody's more right or wrong. Like I say, if you're coming with love and you're coming with energy, you can do no wrong. So if you feel that, I don't want to give up having a McDonald's hamburger and French fries, because I mean, even me, like I've gone down the rabbit hole where I haven't had fast food for years, and it's something that I do seldomly, but it's like whenever you feel like, whenever you taste it when it's made right, you're like, wow, this is something this is a magical experience, you know what I mean? Those French fries are gonna take and make you feel like it's the first time every time, you know what I mean? And certain foods can do that. Excuse me, you know what I mean? So essentially, whatever you're eating, whatever you're putting in your body, you got to understand that you're helping yourself. You're making yourself feel better. You're making yourself heal. And it doesn't matter about you, like, you know, about looking up to somebody that's, being this holistic, spiritual shooter, or whatever they're doing, just where they're not eating, a certain way, making you feel like you got to judge the way that you're living your life. And like I said, you know, when you're able to look at your life and your choices from that level playing of, you know what, is this working for me? Do I feel good about what I'm doing? Like, obviously, if you're hitting the drive-thru every day and you're feeling negative about it and you feel sad, if you're crying into a Big Mac, I mean, that's no good for nobody. You know what I mean? If you're crying into your food, that's where you got to evaluate. You know what I mean? That shouldn't be the situation. Or if you're using your food for like a crutch, like, you know what, I got to get high. Like, you're itching for it. Like, you got to go get you got to get your McFix or whatever. And then you got to look at it like that. But if you're just utilizing it because, you know, the muscles need fuel, you know what I mean? You got to understand, there's a lot of bodybuilders out there and a lot of people that are ripped, stripped, fit, and they eat whatever they want, all right? So I'm going to tell you this. You can look at a body that somebody looks like they have a quote-unquote dad bod, and he could be a like straight holistic vegan, drinking alkaline water and having the electrolytes. And then you can look at somebody that's completely shredded, ripped, and they drink like a fish, and they eat Burger King and McDonald's 3 times a day, and they're ripped and shredded anyways. And then it's like, you know, even if you got them on the EKGs and then you can check them out and they can actually be healthy, because it all comes down to the mentality. And then somebody might be like, well, it's the genetic. Whatever you want to say, you're the boss to decide on what you got to do. All I'm saying is that the choices that you make essentially are your own, and you ain't got to get lost in anybody's way, man. Be your own boss today, okay? So forget about everybody else. Do what works for you. If you feel that you want to eat meat, then by all means do it. If you feel like you want to do some like a carnivore diet or what, I mean, I feel like, you know, to me, balance and moderation is the key to life. It's the flavors, and you want to have more than one avenue. And like I said, you know, I love to cook. It's one of my passions, and whenever and I feel that to be able to enjoy all kinds of food is going to make you more, a more valuable, or you're going to be more open for experiences. And for me, it's a beautiful thing. Well, anyways, like I said, sorry, man. Today, like I said, I'm just getting over this hump, man. It's been a beautiful week. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you gotta get that last sip in, you know what I mean? So anyways, like I'm saying, before I go, I always gotta share that matrix hack every single time. Doesn't matter where you're at, what you're doing. If somebody's, you know, if you're at the gym, if you hear somebody on the other line of the phone, all I intend on you to do is, whatever thought that you have about that person, whether it's good, bad, and neutral, just intend on that person, that soul, to have a beautiful day, to feel love in some kind of way, and you go along your day. You just hacked the matrix. You just made the world a better place. And to me, these are the things that can bring you back to the source energy of what we all are, and that's being happy. And like I said, if you gotta watch a comedian on your phone, you gotta watch a movie, whatever it makes you laugh and smile, that's when you're doing it right. If you're grinning, you're winning. The smile is divine. It's made inside the mind. We're all born from excitement, so never forget that, man. You gotta understand that when you're laughing, that's when you're getting back to your happiness that we're already tethered to, man. Like I like to say, man, doesn't matter about how mean somebody is, man. There's happiness that's attached to that person somewhere. It just might be really stretched out for miles, but eventually that thing's gonna snap back and make you smile. And with that, I'm gonna close this beautiful experience yet again, telling you to be the boss. I pay the cost to be the boss, you know what I mean? And then it's like, Bruce Springsteen's the boss, and we're talking about a whole bunch of bosses, and I don't know why I don't know why I'm sharing this at the end, but it's a beautiful thing, man. I just feel like, you know, I'm just happy and grateful I got to have this beautiful moment with you guys. And 10 on you guys to feel some love today, spread some love today. Oh yeah, everybody to heal, everybody to feel. And of course, you know I'm gonna be here always keeping it real. And I'm here to just, I'm here to help you manifest the best. Make sure you guys get at me, really drop me a line, email me, show you the joking, the kegels, the edging, the super edging, the masturbation for manifestation. I'm here to help you. All these exercises for extra size have been manifested through me, continuously ongoing and growing. I contact the divine because the divine's inside. And like I say, man, if you want beauty to appear, you gotta keep this clear, be a clear conduit for growth. And before I go, man, just intend on you guys to feel beautiful today, feel some love today, spread some love today. And of course, make sure you guys are getting on my social media, checking out my KHC, taking care of the neighborhood. Wolf and my bear always there. It's a beautiful thing, and I feel beautiful things are coming this year. It's going to be a huge 2020 growth, some cameos. Who knows what's coming, man? I intend on you guys to feel some love. You guys are beautiful. I'll be seeing you around. Peace. Love you guys.